Barcelona gets the tourists, Ibiza gets the parties, and the Costa Brava, 200 kilometers of the most dramatic coastline in Spain, gets quietly left off the itinerary. That's exactly why it is worth going. Medieval village still entirely intact, secret coves reachable only on foot, a cliff-top monastery shrouded in legend, and a coastal hiking trail that fishermen and smugglers once shared, now revealing hidden beaches that no road will ever reach. 7 hidden gems, 1 wild coastline. This is Costa Brava. Number 7. Start where architecture meets the sea, and the result looks like it was designed to stop traffic. Marimurtra Botanical Gardens sits pitched on a cliff above the Mediterranean in Blanes. Built over a century ago by German scientists who spent decades turning this dramatic lake into one of Europe's most extraordinary plant collections. 4,000 species from 5 continents now occupy ground that looks out over turquoise water on 3 sides. The bamboo forests are cathedral tall. The desert section is full of landscape of towering cacti that shouldn't exist this close to the sea. And then there is Linus Temple, a white marble structure positioned at the very edge of the cliff, framing nothing but open Mediterranean. It is one of the most photographed spots in Spain. Most visitors to the Costa Brava drive straight past plains for busier beaches further up the coast. The ones who stop here leave with the best photographs of the trip. Number 6. A few minutes from Marimurtra, the coastline curves into something exceptional. Playa de Fenals is a 700-meter bay of thick golden sand enclosed on both sides of the pine forest and dramatic limestone cliffs. Those cliffs do 2 things. They keep the wind off, which keeps the water calm, and they keep the crowds down, because most visitors to this part of the coast default to the main Laurent de Mar beach nearby without looking farther. The water here is clear, deep blue, and swimmable for most of the year. Kayak and paddleboard rentals operate throughout the season. A coastal path connects the bay to the surrounding headland, and the beach-front restaurants are the low-key, family-run version. Fresh grilled fish, local wine, tables close enough to the water to hear it. Laurent de Mar has the volume. Playa de Fenals has the quality. Number 5. Most coastal towns have history somewhere nearby. Tossa de Mar has its directly overhead. This is the only surviving fortified medieval village on the entire Catalan coast, and the walls, towers, and lighthouse that crown the headland above the main beach have been standing since the 12th century. Walking up through the Vila Vela, the old town means climbing stone streets, past flower-covered houses, and through gate arcs that were built with this entire coastline was contested territory. From the highest point, the lighthouse offers a full panoramic sweep of the coast in both directions. Back down at sea level, Playa Grande delivers one of the most distinctive beach experiences in Spain. Soft sand, clear water, and medieval fortress looking directly down from above. Behind the walls, Cala Escador is tucked away cove most visitors never reach. The effort to find it is minimal. The reward is a completely different atmosphere from the main beach, quieter, wilder, and framed by the same ancient stone. Number 4. Leave the coast for 20 minutes, and the landscape changed completely. The medieval village of Pals sits on gentle hillside, a few kilometers inland, and the moment the stone arch entrance comes into view, the 21st century steps aside. The entire village is built from golden sandstone that shifts color through the day, pale in the morning, deep amber in the late afternoon, when the sun drops behind the hills. Narrow alleys wind between the stone houses dropped in ivy and flowering plants. Hidden courtyards appear without warning. The Hours Tower, an 11th century structure at the village's highest point, is the oldest building and still the most commanding. From the viewpoint beside it, the landscape opens east all the way back to the sea. Pals is the kind of village that most travel itineraries around Costa Brava miss entirely because it is not on the coast. That oversight works entirely in favor of the visitors who make the detour. Number 3. High in the Verdra mountain, where the road runs out and the views begin, something has been standing since the 9th century. The monastery of Saint Pierre de Rhodes is a Roman complex of extraordinary scale. A bell tower, two-level cloister, and vaulted church built from the same grey stone as the mountain it occupies. The history surrounding it is deliberately unclear. Legends suggest it was founded by early Christians fleeing Rome, carrying relics too important to leave behind. Whatever the actual origin, the place carries the weight of it. The architecture is the draw for historians, but for everyone else, the draw is what happens when standing at the mountain's edge looking south. The entire Costa Brava coastline, laid out below, the deep blue Mediterranean stretching to the horizon, and absolute silence except for the wind coming off the sea. There are few better viewpoints in Spain, and almost no crowds at this altitude to interrupt it. Number 2. Once it was a patrol route, fishermen used one end, smugglers used the other. Guards walked the middle, watching the sea. The Camí de Ronda is a historic coastal path that predates modern tourism entirely, and the sections that survive along the Costa Brava are among the best hiking available anywhere on the Mediterranean coast. The trail moves through the pine forest, climbs across the rocky headland, drops through carved stone tunnels, and opens without warning onto coves that no road connects to. Those coves, emerald green water, shingle or sand, surrounded entirely by cliff or forest, are the reason experienced hikers return to the Camí de Ronda more than once. Short sections between nearby beach towns take an hour. Full multi-day routes cover the length of the coast. The views change with every kilometer. The inaccessible beaches are the payoffs for every meter of elevation gained. The Costa Brava at its most raw. No other experience on this list delivers it the same way. Number 1. The name means carved stone. The village was named this because the defensive moats surrounding it were not built. They were cut directly from the solid bedrock underneath, an act of such extraordinary effort that defines the place 1,000 years later. Peratallada sits a short drive from the coast and considered one of the best preserved medieval villages in all of Spain, not just Costa Brava, all of Spain. The claim holds up on arrival. The entire settlement is golden sandstone. The streets are cobbled. The arcs span narrow lanes between the buildings that have stood since the 11th and 12th century. Ivy and flowering plants cover the exterior walls. Hidden squares appear between buildings. The proportions are human, narrow enough that two people walking in opposite directions have to step aside. The arched bridge over Carrer d'en Vans is the most photographed detail in the village. Plaça de les Voltes, a sunny square edged by stone arcades, is where the visit ends. A cool drink, the afternoon light, and the very specific quiet of a medieval village that the major tourist routes haven't found yet. 7 hidden gems on one of Europe's most underestimated coastlines. The Peratallada is one that makes the strongest case for why the Costa Brava keeps rewarding people who go deeper on that surface. 7 places, 1 wild coastline. Costa Brava, Spain, hiding in plain sight, 2 hours north of Barcelona.